Yeah, this was indeed bare bones. Look, I very nearly quit, as one could notice, perhaps. Yeah, no, this is in my opinion, the definition of fun or anything. Like, the very best is some sort of experiment where extreme parameters are just just used. It makes no sense to do this. I mean, I tried the first, not the first, the second one. Even with four in the party. I tried it like 10 times. I mean, I don't know how I just kept on going. That's not the way to play a game. I don't know what the point of this is. It just makes no sense, right? It's the most frustrating thing. I don't know why and how I kept on going. Honestly, I just don't. I mean, I very nearly just quit, and in fact, the very last one that I did with the second bunch, I said, if this fails, I'm going to quit. Of course, the problem is that battles, I mean, this is nothing special. I don't know how people are so interested with battles. I mean, there's many other games where battles are the focus. Like at least World of Ruin had something else. Some people talking. This had as well, but the fact that most RPGs have this thing where you can just I mean, I know grinding is also boring, but in comparison to this, I mean, repeatedly doing something to try to hope to, because this just relies pretty much on RNG. That's pretty much it, right? Just randomness, right? So I mean, battles do that. This is the only thing that I really realized. That's all battles rely on, randomness, which is why I don't really like battling in RPGs. I mean, what's the point of randomness? The only thing that doesn't make it random is if you can grind, essentially. Even though grinding is boring, at least it takes away the fact that you rely on randomness, and you rely on absolute randomness if you cannot level up on your own. Artificially only levels up every time you know uh 25 levels or something, kind of ridiculous. But I'm just saying, right? This was unbelievably boring, I'm sorry to say. Even though the the text in between, try to, I guess, have some sort of comedy, but no, it doesn't really compensate for the absolutely endless boredom and the mundanity, just the endlessness of it. It just doesn't compensate. I have no idea how I kept on going, honestly. Everything was so unbelievably, and it's not entertaining. I don't know how someone can think it's entertaining, and it's not balanced either, even though it says that. I don't know what the 23 hours was spent on. Personally, I mean, I don't know, but if you spend it on, I guess, trying to make it so it's as extreme as possible but not more, well, in my opinion, it is more. I mean, just the fact that I had to try the second bunch, 10 times, ridiculous. I only had to try the first bunch once. So there's a disparity. That's not a balance. And the third one, the dragon and the phoenix. Sure, one would think, oh well, it's only two. Uh, they're insane as well. The healing was incredibly annoying. Like, how am I supposed to, just I. And another thing, right? Not that I was going to forget, but what is the point of having it on a private server which only plays HTML5? This it just doesn't work. Like, the more this game was absolutely unbelievably unentertaining, it's yeah, these things don't work with browser plays. They're too resourceful. I just honestly, I really dislike the fact that HTML5 is so being widely used. I mean, just a game in something that only uses pixels is easily it just doesn't, right? I don't know what it is. Chrome specifically had something that really rendered it absolutely useless. I was going to give up without even ever beginning, which at this point I'm not sure. Honestly, I could have saved some hours, and I cannot believe honestly I spent 2 hours and 40 minutes on just battles, just repeatedly. It's not worth it. And if it was a whole game, but it wouldn't be like this either, because you could grind normally with the whole game. So I wouldn't just keep on going at the same battle if I lost say at least twice. I just go, and it's boring this way. Like, what's the point? It's like, oh, let's try again. Let's see if randomness this time favors me. And wow, as it happens maybe sometimes. And what's the point of the silence in the last battle? I mean, there's so many annoying things. The healing, the silence, just unbelievable. Just continually, just something, and I mean, this is supposed got us there. Just three forms. I mean, I don't know. Just the whole thing, though. It's just, And yeah, as I was about to say, though, it crashed at one point. I think when I was trying to fight the Phoenix there, it just crashed because it's in a browser. Games never crash if they're standalone executables. So just don't make it even more. I mean, the game is already incredibly difficult. Why on earth would you make it technically difficult as well? The whole thing as well, 2 hours and 40 minutes, because it was rendered slowly. I mean, not as slowly as it was on Chrome, pretty much impossible. Like, it would have taken 10 hours if I literally did try to do it on Chrome. But I think it was still like, I don't know if half the speed, normal speed, or 3/4 maybe 3/4, but it was slower, so it took even longer. It's literally it's a game where the only purpose is suffering or something. I don't know what it is. Like, what's the point? I mean, personally, I dislike battles, right? But when it comes to RPGs, I mean, sure, most if not all RPGs have battles, apart from a few small ones that focus on interaction between the sprites. But the point is, when they do have battles, and yeah, sure, most mainstream RPGs have battles as well, there's a point to them, though. And sure, I mean, having a few interactions here like there were here, but it's not the balance at all. I mean, the battles lasted far longer than the interactions ever did, obviously. With mainstream RPGs, it doesn't happen either. There is a balance usually. So you got a huge plot, and even if, like in Final Fantasy VI, where the Kefka changes forms, and it's a long battle. But that's preceded by like 20 hours of plot, not just some. Oh, someone on a throne. Great, let's spend an hour trying to defeat you based on randomness. I don't know. Just So the game is described as bare bones, but it's kind of worse than that. I don't know. It's not just bare bones. It's frustrating, and very, very much frustrating. I mean, it's not 2 hours and 40 minutes that I enjoyed, and when one plays games, they should be enjoyable. As I mentioned earlier, World of Ruin, which is slightly similar, but at least it has a whole world that one can, it's sort of illusory. But one can, go throughout the whole world, it's otherwise similar, but the battles aren't as absolutely impossible as this. And indeed, there is grinding possible. No, yeah, some other games do have that, but they also only have items and not levels for some reason that characters can have. So, or there's another one which only has skills for some reason. They're absorbed. Which one was that again? There's Demore had only skills. So the thing is, there is something else though. You know, repeating the same battle. Yeah, it's too frustrating, you know, 'cause it relies on randomness, and that is what's really frustrating. And you know, as I said, just putting it on, so it's not so much the fact that it's on a private server, but you know, it's the fact that, I mean, like, even if it was HTML5 on, you know, WebGL or whatever it's called, if it was on itch.io or GameJolt, I could have used their client to play it, and it would play similarly to how independent executables play. But obviously, this being on a private server means I cannot do that. Obviously, there's no clients for it. I'm just saying, it made it so much more difficult. The fact that, you know, it crashed in the middle of the Phoenix battle after, you know, that's just a crash. That's not a defeat on my part, and yet somehow I considered it to be a defeat and just tried it again. And it's just, I mean, honestly, it's made to be entirely frustrating. I'm not sure why that seemed to be the case. You know, even the fact that, oh, if you defeat the dragon first, is revived by the Phoenix, and of course, if you defeat the crystals, the goddesses crystals at the end, they're revived as well. I mean, the whole thing is an exercise in frustration, and I don't understand why. And you know, you know, the Phoenix's healing being 4,000. 4,000. I mean, that's, and it just does it often, like every other. I mean, it's a never-ending battle. I mean, that's not fun. That's just you know, that that guy in Greek mythology, what's he called now? That's my brain doesn't have the same recollection after 12 and a half of constant battles. You know, the guy who kept lifting a boulder up a hill and came back down. That's pretty much this kind of game where you just have battles, and the battles are somehow made to be as frustrating as possible. It just wasn't really balanced, in my opinion.